Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jesse Milestone, and we've got a lot to talk about today, so let's hope my voice holds up. Going through a bit of a laryngitis period, shouldn't be anything to worry about, but I'm going to kick its ass talking about this video. What am I going to talk about this video today? That was a weird noise. I'm sorry. Hope I didn't damage anybody's eardrums with that. All right, so there's this picture going around. It was from Molly Damon's Twitter. Molly Damon is the wife of Star Wars Explained. Star Wars Explained YouTuber, does a channel. Gonna be honest, haven't really watched many of his videos because I don't need no one to explain Star Wars to me. But I get the sense that he's one of these guys who kind of like probably isn't hardcore SJW, but just sort of rides the wave of like, I'm not gonna go against what they say because it's easier to just ride the wave of wokeness than actually have an opinion or intellectualism myself. I know he and Jeremy have had some problems in the past, but you know, whatever. So he's a dude. Obviously his wife has some feelings about feminism because the shirt she's wearing, she's like, can't wait to wear this Star Wars celebration, is it's got Leia's hair, just the little side buns in her hair, and it says, ask me about my feminist fan agenda, and underneath, hashtag looking for Leia. Whoa, there's a lot to unpack there. Okay, let's just start with what's on the nose before we do any digging into what this means and what this is referencing. Any shirt, except for the ones that are like, ask me about my T-Rex, where you pull it up over your head and your T-Rex rawr. Any shirt that says, ask me about this thing, ask me about this point of view, perspective, culture, fan base, ideology, whatever it is. If you wear that shirt, you are almost certainly a douchebag. Because what that shirt says is, if you ask me about this thing, I will explain it to you probably as condescendingly as humanly possible, assuming that I am the expert and you therefore know nothing. And I'm going to insist to you that whatever I'm talking about, I'm 100% right about. I am so very convinced that I am right that I would like to tell you all about how right I am. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter whether what you believe is right or wrong. The reality is, if somebody believes the opposite, they most likely believe just as strongly as you do that you are right and they are wrong. And there's no, aside from, democratically saying, oh, there's majority rules, there's belief systems, there is no imperative right or wrong. If enough of us said, hey, murder should be legal, who are the other people to say, nah, that's not cool, dude? In fact, I'm very much in favor of that because there's a lot of people I would kill. But right now, we say murder's bad, so we don't do it. There's also laws in place for that. There are no laws to protect your belief system and your ideologies, right? There are no laws in place that say you believe this and therefore it's correct. So when you walk around with a shirt like that, what you're saying is, I would like you to give me an opportunity to explain to you exactly why I am right and you are wrong. You're a douchebag. You suck. Now, let's move a little deeper, right? My feminist fan agenda. That shouldn't be a thing. Fans should not have social justice agendas. They should be fans. If you want to go around having a social justice agenda, good for you. Do it somewhere else. Don't walk into a fucking convention wearing that shirt because guess what? Not everyone in the goddamn room wants to have that discussion with you or anybody or be confronted by that. In fact, some of us are going to a place like Star Wars Celebration to escape from this nonsense and be in a world, in a place where you all agree on one thing, and that's we love Star Wars. That's what we want. So when you wear a shirt like that, you're just inviting that in there. You're bringing that dissent into the room. How would you feel? People sporting that shirt, buying that shirt. How would you feel if someone walked into the room saying, Trump loves Star Wars? Someone walks into the room with that. You can bet people are going to flip a fucking bitch. No question. But why do they have any less right to wear that shirt than you have one that's sparking the same kind of controversy? Hey, let me take my social political agenda and shove it in your face in a place and time where you don't really want to think about it or deal with it. Maybe I just don't want to know about your socio-political beliefs right at this exact moment. Maybe you should keep that shit to yourself. So that. Now, of course, it's very perturbing that you're using the image of Princess Leia, who is not about feminist agenda. She's just a well-written female character. I don't think George Lucas was like, here's my feminist agenda when I wrote her. When he wrote her, he was just like, I know how to write a decent woman character because I'm not an idiot and I appreciate a strong woman. Done. So right there, like, why are you corrupting this image for your own gain? Why? Okay, well, we got hashtag looking for Leia, so let's move on to our next piece. What is Looking for Leia? Looking for Leia is an in-production, fan-made documentary about the female fans of the Star Wars universe. And I really, really dug into this because I want to do it justice when I discuss it. I went on their website, I watched their 4-minute trailer, I watched all 11 minutes of interview footage that they put up there, and I'm more upset by the fact that a lot of it isn't bad. Why does this upset me? Just is it because you're an asshole and you wanted to hate it and you didn't, now you're just being a cunt? No! It's because it's so close to being something very beautiful, and yet you just took it and bastardized it. Most of the 11-minute video is women saying things I'm all about. They're talking about their experiences with Star Wars. They're talking about the universality of the experience, which many people do not deny. Beautiful things like Star Wars is for all people, all races, all religions, all genders. And we know this. We as Star Wars fans don't need to be told this. We intrinsically know this. That's why we've all loved Star Wars. Because the thing you're fucking forgetting when you make something like this to be like, we have to take Star Wars away from the white man, is that the original fans of Star Wars were not your mainstream captain of the football team jocks. They were nerds. Whether they were boy nerds or girl nerds, they were nerds. It wasn't cool to be a Star Wars fan until after the prequels came out. It was a nerdy thing to do. You were a dork. You were an outcast. We all found belonging in Star Wars. We all loved the fact that the Star Wars universe gave us this diversity of aliens, of creatures, of worlds, of things that made us feel like we could belong. We all loved it for that reason, including the white man. So you're not making some novel concept here. It's a great sentiment. And look, sure, there are not a lot of videos that go around being like, let's talk specifically to female fans about their experience with Star Wars. There are a lot of excellent female fans doing wonderful cosplay, doing wonderful projects. That's great. I have nothing wrong with being like, I'm a woman who loves Star Wars. Let me go talk to other women who love Star Wars and make a video. I have no problem with that. But you start crossing some lines because, as stated, if that's just the movie, if the movie is just that, let's talk to these women and hear about their experiences, fine. But as you stated in the shirt you're marketing on your website, this is about your feminist fan agenda. And that's a problem for me for 2 reasons. 1, I don't give a shit about your feminist fan agenda. First of all, right? I don't give a shit about that. Second, in addition, because your agenda does not make sense. And I want to read you this quote from this is for me the most problematic part. This sort of sums up the project, and this is why it's problematic for me, right? The interviews are fine. The discussions, the people, for the most part, you got one chick who's like, Leia killed her oppressor. I'm like, I'm not sure I call Jabba the Hutt an oppressor. I don't go around and someone tries to make me into a sex slave. I'm not like, this is my oppressor. I'm like, this is the piece of shit that I'm going to stab to death, which is what Leia basically did, but she strangled him to death. So I think Leia and I are more on the same page than you, crazy bitch. Anyway, so the statement on their website says, Looking for Leia is a joyous gender justice project. We have to talk about joyous and gender justice is an oxymoron. Nobody who's into gender justice is joyous ever at all. Joyous gender justice project that shifts the traditionally male-centered narrative of geek culture and highlights and humanizes stories and voices rarely centered in cultural discussions. Sit back because we're about to femsplain Star Wars fandom. Great. Let's just make a joke about how we're going to do exactly to other people what we hate having done to us. That's great. That's really progressive and egalitarian of you. Good job. Let's just be petty and vengeful. Awesome. Well, you suck. Humanizes stories and voices that are really no one's like, oh well, that person is a brown person who likes Star Wars. They must not really be human. Said no one ever. Come on. Traditionally male-centered narrative of geek culture? I mean, it depends what part of geek culture you're talking about. There have been strong women in geek culture since the dawn of fucking time. In fact, one of my favorite things, Star Wars, I talk a lot in this video, this is what was very misguided here, is people are like, Star Wars is sci-fi. It's not. Star Wars is fantasy with futuristic elements in it. It has science fiction-esque elements in it. It is, first and foremost, a fantasy. If you go back and read fantasy novels, I've been reading fantasy novels since I was a kid. One of the things I love about fantasy novels is the amount of strong women in them. Strong women have been a part of fantasy forever. Strong women have been part of sci-fi forever. That's just like they belong there. I mean, one of the most progressive shows ever made for its time was Star Trek. You just had women just working on the ship and stuff like that. So, what? Which is like, I hate when this happens because part of the problem with your agenda is that you're devaluing the people who came before by acting like they didn't exist, which is totally contradicted by the stories people are actually telling in the narratives, which is hilarious to me. Is your whole agenda of we need to bring this awareness because it isn't and has never been there is contradicted entirely by all of these women, some of them who saw Star Wars in theaters when it came out, telling you like this has always been there. These were all of my heroes. They have always been there, and I have always been here. Like, what? So you're contradicting directly this agenda that these people have not been here, and they've been invisible, and these people are literally telling their stories about how they've been passionately involved in the Star Wars fandom their entire lives. So problem, right? My other problem with your feminist fan agenda is that it is still not correctly representational. For 2 reasons, right? Multiple reasons, but here's my 2, right? You are, as you stated, have an agenda. Therefore, you are not going to represent any perspective, though you already fucked that up. You're not going to represent any perspective that seriously compromises that agenda, that goes against your agenda, that paints a picture that doesn't support your agenda. So, bullshit that you're doing this for women in feminism. You're doing it for your idea of what that means. And guess what? This is my problem number 2. That idea does not include me. It has never. And this is my huge problem when people are like, I am going to be your feminist savior for your culture and your fandom and your geekdom. I'm like, you are not representing me. You are not doing me any justice whatsoever. Because I did not grow up being like, I have to be Princess Leia. She's my only inspiration. I wanted to be Han Solo. I wanted to be Indiana Jones. And guess what? Now that we have some more stronger female characters, Christ, when I saw Mad Max, I still wanted to be Max more than I wanted to be Furiosa. So there. I am a masculine, tomboy, tough as shit, can still be very attractive and sexy, thank you very much, with my raspy voice. But, right, I don't see myself represented. When I look at your geek shit and whatnot, there are no short-haired tomboyish chicks. And if you have anything like this, they're lesbians. Wow, good job diversifying. Actually, you're just pandering to stereotypes, you dumbasses. So I've never seen myself represented in these types of ideas and movements. And because I'm not represented by them, I am silenced by them. Because I don't support their theories. I am all about strong, badass women. And I would like to see more of them. And yet, I still watch these movies and identify with the male characters. I don't want these strong male characters to go away. And that's the problem, right? It's not just we're advocating for us to make strong female characters. It's we're advocating to destroy the exact type of strong male character that I have always looked up to and related to. So you're going to take that away from me because in your mind I'm supposed to look up to women instead of men? I'm sorry, I don't. Like, yes, there are women in my life, in the world that I look up to. My mom is the biggest badass in the damn world and I love her to death. But in movies, in cinema, I have always wanted to be the male characters. And I have no judgments about that. And I don't need it to change. So stop acting like you're doing me a goddamn favor and that you're representing my interests and beliefs because you're not. You're just not. Oh, if I keep going, I won't be able to talk tomorrow, but I feel like I have more to say. Maybe we'll do another video. I don't know. This just it gets under my skin. So take a look, guys. Go to the website looking for Leia. Take a look through it. See what you think. Where do they go wrong? Where could this be a decent... Do you agree? Could this be a decent project? They're just effing up? Because I really think it is. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Oppress that like button, as we say, because I believe in oppressing things on my channel. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notifications bell so you always know when I'm doing things and yelling and stuff. If you want to know more, get more involved, click the video, get involved with me. Find out more things like my Patreon, my t-shirts, other ways to support Mindless Entertainment. We will talk again soon. Good night.